The following program is rated PG and may contain mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
The Super Channel Heart and Home After Show with special guests Pascal Hutton, Johanna Newmarch, Kevin McGarry, Amanda Wong, Andrea Brooks, and now the host of the Super Channel Heart and Home After Show, Elliott Wallach.
We have just watched the second episode of season 10, but you know what? You just watched the 100th episode of When Calls the Heart. What a milestone. Think about 100 of anything. That is a lot. And we're going to kick it off with the lovely Pascal who plays Rosemary. Can you imagine anybody else playing Rosemary than Pascal? If Pascal didn't win like Best Smile when she was in high school, she was robbed. But in this clip, what we're going to watch is the lovely Rosemary is helping Elizabeth make plans for her wedding. Let's take a look.
Oh my, this is lovely, isn't it? But, ladies, while this is a wonderful idea, I don't think it's quite in keeping with the motif of the wedding.
And what motif might that be?
Rustic, old world.
How much do you think Rosemary really wanted to do a rustic wedding versus a lot of flair?
Well, this is what I love about this episode and this scene in particular is as much as Rosemary would love to go overboard in the wedding planning, she wants to support her friend more. And I think that's so indicative of how much Rosemary's grown and where she is now in life, is that she, as much as she would love to get carried away with the excitement of something and the grandness and the drama of something, she wants to be there for her friend first and foremost. And she really delivers. She gets everybody on board and she sells this idea of what Elizabeth wants for her wedding. And she really supports her friend and kind of does the dirty work for Elizabeth without Elizabeth having to really take on her sister and her aunt.
When actors come back on the show, in this case with the character of Julie, is it fun to get to reconnect with actors that have been on earlier seasons and then come back?
Absolutely. You know, I love it. And especially the character of Julie, we haven't seen her in so many years. And Rosemary and Julie did not overlap very much in previous seasons.
Right.
So this was fun that we got some actual stuff to do together. Because you could see how, if left to their own devices, Julie and Rosemary could kind of run wild. They're both kind of excitable.
Can you imagine what kind of wedding that would be?
Yeah, exactly. So that was very fun. It was nice to have her back.
Is it a small acting community? Do you have people show up on set and then realize, oh, we were in this show together?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Oh, my goodness, all the time. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's wonderful. That's been the great thing. I mean, 10 seasons. A lot of friends of mine have come on the show.
Right. Well, one of the things we've seen with Rosemary is that she's good at getting herself into a predicament and not always so good at listening to instructions. Let's take a look at a clip.
I'm going with him.
Whoa. What happened to listening to your body?
I am listening to my body, and my body is telling me that my husband needs my help. And you're coming with me. Oh, it's time to repay that favor.
She has good intentions.
Always good intentions. Always good intentions. I love it how she ropes Elizabeth into it too, though. Elizabeth does not want to. I'm going to follow the instruction. No, you're not. You're coming with me. That's funny.
Do you think her good intentions outweigh her sort of, I don't know if scheming is the right word.
Oh,
but
I do. But the best part is she's found somebody who believes that. I mean, she's found Lee, who, no matter what she does, chaos that she creates or, kerfuffle that she kind of produces, he always knows that her intentions are good, and he's amused by it, ultimately. She's found the perfect partner. She's found the perfect husband, somebody who can look at her craziness, kind of, and love it, no matter how infuriating it is sometimes.
Well, and I think we got a good example of that in, I may have been season 2 maybe, or 3, maybe 3.
You know, pick one. I think there's some of it in every season.
Yeah, but when she wanted the newspaper to come and write an article, and she convinced him that she was married, and he became Mr.
Oh,
Laveau.
yes, that was season 3, because they weren't yet
They
really
weren't
a
married.
couple. They weren't married, and they weren't even totally like couple yet. Yes, yeah.
That probably sealed it for her. She knew.
There was no misrepresentation. Rosemary's always been Rosemary. He knew what he was getting.
Right. So we've had, in this episode, we had a couple large scenes. So does the dynamic change when you all get to be together?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Is it?
It's so much fun. I mean, they're often long days because with that many people, it just takes much longer to film, more coverage, all those sorts of things. But it is always fun when we all get to be together and everybody's hanging out in between takes. And yeah, it's a wonderful feeling.
We're waiting on the birth of the baby. Everybody's very excited about that. We can't wait to find out if it's a boy or a girl.
Yes.
Without giving away any secrets, how would you describe the whole thing?
I think this season is not unlike other seasons in which I really feel like there's so much to enjoy. I think there's real community, as people have come to expect, this community coming together in good times and in hard times to celebrate and to pull together when there's a challenge. There's also comedy. There's lots of funny moments. Obviously for Rosemary, I think people expect that, but there's funny moments for lots of people in this season. There's lots of romance, and then there's some surprises like the birth of the baby that's really heartfelt and dramatic, and I don't know, I think have your tissue boxes close. And so I love it. I love that our show continues to find new ways to delight and amuse and surprise our fans.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. Thank you so much for being on, helping us break down episode 2.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you again during the season.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Next up, a lot of the fan favorites, it's Flomo. You guys are always talking about Flomo. And who better to talk about the connection, the unique connection the women of Hope Valley have than Joanna Newmarch, who plays Molly, the Mo of Flomo. Let's take a look.
What is this I hear about a picnic lunch?
It's a farewell for Julia and Aunt Agatha.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, no, I think it's a terrible idea. First of all, it's bug infested. It's a long hike, and you can't get the horses up there.
Well, then you don't have to go. For the 3rd time today.
In this episode, and really in the previous seasons, we had a new character arrive, and that was Minnie. How do you feel about Minnie, what she brought to the show?
Oh, just this sort of low-key depth and warmth, She's not a look-at-me character, but she's just like the glue, like the background, this wonderful maternal cradle that she just creates without even doing too much or saying too much. She just is that. It's just what she brings.
Even in her voice, right?
She has that beautiful, warm, low voice that just makes you feel sort of safe and cozy whenever she shows up in a scene. Yeah.
So we have a scene where all of you were sitting out in front of Abigail's cafe talking. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Oh, my favorite. Someday you'll have to give me the recipe.
But if I give you the recipe, you'll want to bake them for me. And it's my special treat for you.
So that's your excuse.
It's true. That's the same reason I won't give my recipe to you.
Everything tastes better when someone else makes it.
That sentiment.
So
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a mom thing, right? Like we care for other people, and when other people bake for us,
Oh, yeah. They even just make you a sandwich, and you're like, this is so delicious. And like, what did you put in it? They're like, mayonnaise and some cheese. And you're like, really? It's so yummy because you didn't make it, right? Yeah.
You didn't have to do it.
Exactly.
So do you like to bake? Do you
No,
cook,
I've purposely never taught myself how to bake, so because I would just eat it all day if I baked. So it's just best to never learn that.
So you don't have like a go-to recipe when people come over?
Nope.
So no cookies?
Nope. Seriously, I just purposely was like, no, if you knew how to make those delicious things, you just make them all day and you just eat them all day. I mean, I would. So I have no self-control.
One thing that we saw in this season in episode 1 was the idea of community and this community dinner and feeding people. And that's something that the Canfields do. How did you feel playing that scene with everybody coming together?
Oh, well, it's one of the things our show does so well. These wonderful community dinners where everybody pitches in and then we all just get to, spend time together. And, really, the older I get, the more I actually think the show's got it exactly right. I mean, the things that you remember, not to be morbid, if you're lying on your deathbed, you're not going to remember all the time you spent in the office. You're going to think of the time you spent with the friends and family and people you love, right? So I think our show's emphasis on that and just pulling together and always having everybody's back. So I just think food and family and community they inform each other. Food is such a primal part of life, and it's one of the ways we show that we care about each other. So
we talked before about sort of your other career path if you weren't acting and counseling of some sort, right? I feel like you have a real heart for people.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, for all of our superficial differences, I think people are all very similar in many ways, and I think that we just want to be heard and, have a place to bring our gifts forward in our lives, and try and help people do that seems really important. So yeah, you're quite right. Thank you for remembering that. I do have a certificate in peer counseling, and it's something that I just think is important. To listen to each other. And we're really hard on ourselves. And I think sometimes it takes someone else just sitting there and listening to you to actually remind you that you're doing great and that you shouldn't beat yourself up so much. And because I think we all have a really harsh inner critic.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And especially women.
Women especially.
I think we do.
Absolutely.
Right?
Molly, you look stunning. Thank you.
Why do you think the writers are creating these smaller moments with these women?
Yeah, I think it's just to underline that just those little lovely moments that show just, I'm thinking of you. I know you're having a rough week. Here's some cookies and just some tea with some girlfriends and, maybe sit around and vent a little. I think women are good at that. Sometimes, you don't want someone to solve your problems. You just want someone to listen and go, that's hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I like seeing Molly in this light because your character really has a lot of depth. In season 1, we saw what you did with Rosaline, and then the funny moments that you've had, the dress moment with Bill. I love that moment. You walked by.
So fun.
That was so cute. So then these heartfelt moments with the women are really fun to see.
Yeah, and the show's about community, but there's also this really incredible sisterhood.
Well, thank you for recapping episode 2 with me. Hopefully you'll join me for another episode later.
Yes, please.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
The thing about Hope Valley is much like life. You can have very deep connections and you can have relationship challenges. You can have misunderstandings, miscommunications, and you can even have it in interviews. Next up is Kevin McGarry talking with Tiffany Wallach.
I think it's fair to say that theme for Nathan would be relationship challenges in this episode.
A theme for Nathan or theme 4?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like you said theme 4, like there's 3 before. A theme for Nathan.
Yeah, that defines Nathan in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is relationships?
Challenges.
What is happening?
Like this one.
Yeah. It's like challenges.
That's happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Relationship challenges?
Yes.
There we go. We got it back. We're back together now. No, this is good.
I'll clarify. Scout.
Yes.
Right? Challenging. And this relationship with Faith is challenging.
Yeah.
He obviously cares about her.
Yeah.
And is protective of her.
Yeah, I think they're both kind of just concealing their feelings a little bit, kind of protecting their own hearts in this episode. But, life gets in the way and she ends up in his arms and kind of shakes them both a little bit.
We have a clip of that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we do.
Oh.
Let's take a look.
Well, let's take a look. Roll it.
Just leave now and maybe you'll avoid going to jail.
Yeah? Who's gonna put me in jail? You?
No, that'd be me. Hands above your head. Why did you do that? I had him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, there's the dog.
Coming in
at the
minute.
right time. Bandit went the other way, dog's coming in this way. Well-trained Mountie dog.
So it looked like it took a little bit of choreography.
It did, yeah, and then they spliced that together pretty nice, yeah. And Faith ends up in Nathan's arms. And fun fact, Andrea was pregnant during this scene.
Yeah, I heard. So
I was really holding on tight.
You should not say that.
No?
Oh, I thought you meant because she was heavy.
No. I meant like, because the baby. I'm holding 2 people,
cargo.
basically. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, precious cargo, exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly.
I was
No.
Learned nothing?
No.
Yeah.
No, I was carrying for 2 that day. That's what was going on. Yeah.
Okay. How do you choreograph that? Does someone come in and say, is it a bit like a dance?
We've got a fight choreographer. Fight choreographer, and like our stunt guys would come in and figure it out. That moved very quickly. Kind of watching that right now with all the shots or whatever. So, it was all done very safely and everything. Thank goodness for because Andrew was pregnant.
Of course. Now is there a double? She has a double.
She has a double, and she did. Yeah, she had a double for a lot of the season 10. As she got progressively more pregnant as we went along. But it was, and it's great. Can't even notice.
No, and
can't even notice.
And in that episode, I think it was still, it was still pretty early because later on, she's carrying a basket, and she's got pretty soon there was a person.
Just keep putting stuff in front of her belly.
There's at the end, there's a person in front of her. You're standing here.
Yeah.
They have another fun little interaction, not as lively as that one, but where
Who, Nathan and Faith?
Yeah. Well, you have several.
Yes.
But in this case, we're just talking about this particular one in the saloon.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at a clip of that.
Okay.
Nathan, it doesn't really help to just avoid things.
I'm not. Since you ended things.
I'm sorry, I don't have time for this. But for the record, I didn't end anything. You know why? Because there was nothing to end.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
What do you think?
A lot of hidden jewels in that conversation. What do I think?
Nathan says there was something. She says there's nothing.
I think there was some. I think Nathan is right. There was something. Maybe it wasn't moving as fast as Faith wanted it to, but there was something. And I guess, I don't know. I guess we got to explore why Faith might have put the brakes on things or jumped out. But you can tell they're both a little hurt, but you don't know what really is happening yet.
I like that assessment. They're both hurt.
They're both hurt.
That's good. I mean, it's not good that they're hurt.
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
a good
what kind of interview
observation.
is this?
That's a good observation.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They're both hurt, but I mean, you can tell they both still care about each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot left unsaid, I guess, hanging in the air.
You went all the way to Benson Hills so you wouldn't have to talk to Faith?
No. No, I didn't.
I do not understand you two. We are all friends, but you and Faith aren't acting that way. Don't you think it's time?
She just zeroes right in, right?
Yeah,
She knew
exactly.
exactly. She didn't buy it.
Hey, she said she's forthcoming from the get-go, so what you see is what you get. So, she definitely points it out, puts it on him, makes him keep accountable for his actions.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like there's some crossover, like who you are as a person to your character of May a little bit?
Oh yeah, totally. Even when it comes to the journey that May's gone on, it's been really reflective of my journey, even on set.
Like, what do you mean by that?
So what's really interesting is, Fiona and May actually start to develop a really close relationship. And last season, all my time was spent with Kevin and Andrea. But then now that they're embarking on a new venture together, I stopped seeing the two of them just as May has stopped seeing two of her really close friends in town. And so then May gets closer to Fiona, and I also get closer to Kayla. And so there's like a lot of parallels. And I think that what's really nice too is there's a moment between Fiona and May that comes up later. And Fiona really looks at May and asks her how she's doing. For the first time, someone is looking at May and really seeing how she's settled into town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's new and she's trying to make her way, and there's a bit of like apprehension of how much of self to show. And I think that similarly, I spent so much more time with Kayla, and she always checks in on me, and there's like a real foundation of friendship and care that started to sprout from our time together. There were a lot of parallels that I thought was like super fascinating.
Do you feel like it informs your performance when you have a close relationship with someone off screen?
That's interesting, actually. You know, because as actors, we just pretend to be best friends after knowing somebody for a day.
Right.
But it definitely helps when there's already time spent and a history together. So yeah, it does. And it made some of our scenes, some of our comedic scenes just a lot easier to do because we were so in tune after a while. And we started doing the same actions without even thinking about it.
Right.
So I thought that was really nice.
And this season, your roommates.
Yeah. I just love that storyline because all the bachelorettes in town are in a room together and we're in a confined space. We're in 3 different rooms, but we're in a space together and we have some girl chat that's some of it's not on camera, but some of it is. And obviously the topic of conversation would be Mountie Grant at some point, but it's just so nice to have that little those moments together where we just sit back and have some tea and recap the day. And it's so lovely. And I think even sometimes in society we miss that a little bit, that closeness.
Well, I think it's lovely. Being in nature, taking in the fresh air.
And singing.
Didn't believe me. Your lips, your eyes, your cheeks, your hair are in a class beyond compare.
Bill!
What are you doing here?
Having a picnic?
A picnic?
I thought these waters were dangerous, Bill.
It's my first time seeing that. That was so cute.
How was it shooting that? Sometimes they can cheat it, and you're not actually there when the other person's there. But were you all there together?
And he was in the water, and we what you saw us watching was what we watched, and it was adorable and hilarious, and it was just so cute to catch Bill in this free moment. Oh yeah, and I remember the way he'd picnic. Like, it's just bringing me back. So funny.
What did you make of the swimsuits?
Lovely. I love it. I love that we did time period accurate swimwear.
Yeah.
What a fun added touch to this hilarious little scene.
So how do you think Faith was feeling when she discovered that maybe this might be his secret to his healing?
Definitely interesting. Obviously, Bill was up to something. And he's got a little extra spring in his step. And when we see why, it kind of makes total sense. He found a way to unwind and relax. I mean, let's face it, Bill runs everything in town.
Yeah.
He's everybody's lawyer. He's the law. He's helping sell properties, business deals. Like, he's in the middle of absolutely everything in everybody's business all the time. And he's carrying all that weight on his shoulders. So it's just a real freeing moment. And yeah, I think as his doctor, it's all systems go. Good on you. You found a way to relax.
Yeah.
Been telling him to do this for seasons.
That's right.
It's nice to see it in action.
Well, somebody else who needs to relax is Nathan. Because their interaction this episode, I mean, it's a little awkward.
Yeah. You know, I didn't need you to save me. He was just a kid.
I'll take that as a thank you.
You know, you don't have to accompany me.
Going this way anyways.
This was a wild day. It was very hot. The horses were annoyed. And yeah, a lot of choreography in a tight space. It was a bit of a stressful day, but also a stressful situation. So that kind of lent itself to the scene in a lot of ways. But I like this because Faith thinks she can just sort of talk this guy out of it. And she's not really fazed by this robber.
Right.
She doesn't believe he's an actual threat. And then obviously, when Nathan sees what's going on, he reads it as a complete threat, and then the dynamic shifts, and then we get the chaos that unfolds as a result. So yeah, it's a scene that kind of ends up quite dramatic when off the top you kind of think, okay, why is Faith not fazed? But okay, she's dealing with it in her own way, maybe not the best way. But yeah, there's a lot happening.
I don't know how far along you were in your pregnancy, but did that affect how they staged it?
We tried to shoot, for safety reasons. We tried to shoot as much of this kind of buggy stuff with the horses actually detached. And then in shots where I was attached, there were wranglers on either side holding the horses. And yeah, there was a lot of choreography and consideration at play. Obviously, when you're pregnant, there's always consideration at play. But yeah, especially when there is stunt work involved.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was a stunt, so it wasn't me doing the fall, but we still had to shoot a version where I fall back and I was just at his mercy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never for a second thought Kevin would drop me.
So another suitor, I think, or possible suitor for Faith is Mike Hickam.
Oh, Hickam.
I know, right? So what's happening there? Is he sweet on Faith a little bit?
I think it is revealed by this point that, yeah, he's got maybe a little bit of a crush, or he's maybe dipping his toe in those waters, so to speak, since we're dealing with the episode where people dip toes in water. I think it's an interesting idea. I adore that character. I think Faith and Hickam are long friends. They've known each other for ages now in Hope Valley. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. It's a little tease, and it's just a possibility. It's a potential. You never know.
And he deserves a good girl.
100%.
Doesn't he?
Hickam deserves a good girl. Yes.
Is your shoulder still bothering you? You should have Faith take a look when she gets back.
It's back from where?
Rounds. She's seeing new patients in Jameson and Rock Creek.
Jameson? There's
bandits, I know. I warned her.
Do you think we're going to see some more heroic moves from Nathan in the rest of the season?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Season 9, we got that whole gun flip and the horse race and everything, and the horse chase. So, yeah, there's he's a Mountie, and there's bad guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we just saw one. There was a bandit there, so...
That's right.
What's going to happen with that? It can't just be a bandit showing up out of nowhere, mate. That's got to be a through line, right? There's got to be something there.
We've made it through 2 episodes.
How many more do we have?
Well, 10 more.
10 more?
We'll see. Not for you. But 10
Not for
more
me? Am I not in 10 more? Is this the way you're telling me that I'm off the show?
I hate to break it to you.
Wow.
This is
it's embarrassing. Some balloon's gonna fall down or anything and say you're done. Great. I'm back. Spoiler alert, I'm back, right?
Okay.
Right? There's more clips of me coming up down the road.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. You're in the rest of the season.
Okay.
I don't know that you'll be on every after show. Although you're welcome to be.
Why? You know what? I might be busy, so yeah, you're right. I got a life. I got things to do. So you text me, and I'll let you know if I can come back to your after show.
Okay.
All right.
We are invited back.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you for being on episode 2.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you again.
Fingers crossed.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to all the people that helped make this possible. And we'll see you next time for the Super Channel Heart and Home After Show.